consent is obtained for the immediate consideration of such ordinance or resolution. Such consent shall be by roll call, and the vote thereon recorded in the minutes. Section 21, Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised 11th edition, is hereby adopted as the rules and procedures for council in those situations which cannot be resolved by the rules set out in this ordinance. Section 22, any section of any ordinance heretofore adopted by the city of Wetumpka which is in conflict with this ordinance is hereby repealed. The provisions of this ordinance are severable, and any paragraph, section, sentence, or provision hereof shall be held invalid and shall not affect the remaining portions of this ordinance, which shall remain in full force and effect. Section 23, this ordinance shall become effective upon the adoption and publication as required by law.
Okay. I'd like to get one of you council members to give me a report on that.
I think she did a good job.
Thank you for that first reading. Okay, item 9 is another first reading, annexation law.
Whereas the following persons, being the owner of all real property hereinafter described, did file with the city clerk a petition asking that said tracts or parcels of land be annexed to and become part of the city of Wetumpka. And whereas said petition did contain the signatures of the owners of the described property and a map of said property showing its relationship to the corporate limits of the city of Wetumpka. And whereas the city council of the city of Wetumpka, being the governing body thereof, has found and determined that said property hereinafter described is contiguous to the corporate limits of the city of Wetumpka, and that none of said property lies within the corporate limits or police jurisdiction of any other municipality. Whereas the governing body did determine that it is in the public interest that the property be annexed into the city of Wetumpka, and did determine that all legal requirements for annexing said real property have been met pursuant to section 1142.20 of the 24 Code of Alabama. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of Wetumpka as follows. Section 1. The Council of the City of Wetumpka finds and declares as the legislative body of the city that it is in the best interest of the citizens of the city and the citizens of the affected areas to bring the territory described in Section 2 of this ordinance into the city of Wetumpka. Section 2, the boundary lines of the city of Wetumpka be and the same are hereby rearranged so to include all of the territory heretofore encompassing the corporate limits of the city of Wetumpka. In addition thereto, the following described territories. I then have a legal description of property owned by Margate Landing, LLC, owned by Paul Pemberton and Keith Taylor. This property is on Chapel Road, across from Cotton Lake subdivision, and is adjacent to current city limits. Section 3. This ordinance shall be published as provided by law, and a certified copy together with a certified copy of the petition of the property owners shall be filed with the probate judge of Elmore County. Section 4. The territory described in this ordinance shall become part of the corporate limits of the city of Wetumpka and voting district number 3 upon publication of this ordinance as set forth in section 3 above, adopted and approved on this day.
Thank you. That's also the first reading. Item 10 will be a resolution to declare a moratorium on portion of the City of Wetumpka Personnel Policy Manual adopted December 4, 2006. Do we have a motion for that resolution? You got to read it. Come on, read that. How many pages?
Whereas the City Council of the City of Wetumpka desires to provide efficient and effective services for all of its citizens and for those persons doing business in the city. And whereas the city services are mainly the responsibility of the various departments of the city as described more fully in the Personnel Policies Manual adopted by ordinance number 2006-11 on December the 4th, 2006. And whereas the Council of the City of Wetumpka wishes to review the duties and responsibilities of all departments and consider ways to better address the needs of the city and its current, intermediate, and long-range challenges and opportunities. Whereas the Council of the City of Wetumpka believes it is necessary to temporarily suspend certain personnel policies and procedures in order to allow time for the city to evaluate the city structure and ascertain the best system for delivery of city services. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council members of the city of Wetumpka that a moratorium is hereby placed on the following portions of the city of Wetumpka personnel policies. Chapter 4, categories of service and employment status. Chapter 5, employment procedures. Chapter 11, compensation and benefits. Be it further resolved that the council confirms that pursuant to the Alabama Supreme Court's ruling in Scott versus Coachman, the mayor is the appointing authority for all city employees, except those positions identified in section 1143.3, section 43.4, and 1143.5 of the Code of Alabama, that being the city clerk, treasurer, clerk treasurer, tax assessor, tax collectors, chief of police, or chief of fire department. Be it further resolved that the mayor shall have the authority to recommend changes to the organizational chart of the city and restructure the various city departments with the advice and consent of the council. In this process, certain job descriptions may be changed, amended, or revised, and certain positions may be reassigned to different departments. However, regardless of changes made, all employees shall remain at their current salary level during this period unless cost of living adjustments are authorized by the council. The city shall continue to be an equal opportunity employer and shall comply with all applicable, you wouldn't get it out, excuse me, state and federal regulations in its hiring process. Be it further resolved that the city council is vested with the authority to control municipal finances. Any new classified or unclassified positions must receive council approval and funding. Be it further resolved that employees are assured that the general provisions, benefits, records, appraisals, separations, disciplinary procedures, grievance system, attendance and leave, and conflict of interest chapters of the personnel policy manual shall remain in full force until such time a new personnel policy is adopted, which shall be at a date not to exceed 6 months from the date of this resolution. Approved and adopted.
Okay, you've heard the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt it?
Motion to adopt the resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So this resolution has been approved. Item 11, permission to remit annual payment to the Elmo County Commission for global software for the police department, $15,428.46. Do we have a motion?
Motion to grant permission to remit the annual payment as you stated to the Elmore County Commission.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll give it to the lady.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So permission has been given. Item 12, permission for the mayor to sign the 2012-2013 Drug Task Force Agreement. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that the mayor get the permission to sign the road task force.
Okay, we have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that permission too has been granted. Okay, item 13, appointments for boards and committees. The planning board. The mayor's appointment to the planning board here is that I am going to sit on the planning board for a period of time during these 4 years. Don't know how long I'll be there, but we've got a lot of things going, and I want to be able to stay up to speed on it. The rep from the council, representative from the council, is going to be Councilman Percy Gill. Mr. Gill already serves on the planning board, so